Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
On today's Camper Report Show, I'm going to be meeting with a unique group of RVers. There are only a few hundred of them left in the entire United States, and they have GMC motorhomes from the 70s. A really cool crowd. You're going to enjoy it.
It's a classic motorhome, probably one of the nicest ones ever made in this industry and still popular.
We got lots of pictures too.
Yeah, and I go the other spectrum. I've got Trevor Kropf from Kropf Recreational Park Trailers, who introduced a brand new concept in park models, and we'll talk to him and his staff about the exciting future of park models.
Great. So we're going from the old to the new.
Absolutely.
All right here. Where, Bob?
Right here on the Camper Report Show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro. His name is Bob Zagami. And Bob, we are reading news, and I've experienced news firsthand at the annual RV open house, the Mecca of RV. It's the RV capital of the world, put it that way, in Elkhart, Indiana. You've been many, many times, and it's just an amazing event, isn't it?
It is the highlight of the RV year, when all the manufacturers showcase a lot of the new products, and all the dealers head for Elkhart and Goshen and areas close by to place their orders for next year and pick out the units that they're going to have at the consumer shows. And it's one, I don't say it's one big party, but it's a great time for dealers to get together with the OEMs. They wine them, they dine them, they show them all the new products, and they write a lot of business. I mean,
Right.
upwards of $4 billion in 1 week. Just buying new RVs, and you can spend, as you did. You're out there in Elkhart. Well, you're on your way home now, but you've been out there all week, and it's a festive party. And due to COVID, I missed it this year, so we'll rely on your reporting. But you were a very busy man for the last 5 days.
Right. One of the interesting aspects of the open house is that, unlike consumer shows, big consumer shows like Hershey and Tampa, where they might have 1,500 units available for the consumer public to enjoy and browse through. This is a trade-only show. So if you went to the Thor display, there might be 1,500 units there. If you went 12 miles in another direction to the Forest River display, they've got 1,500 units there. Then Winnebago's in town, and Grand Design is in town, and all the major suppliers to RV manufacturers are in town. And it really has the town buzzing.
Well, it is unique because 85% of the RVs are made in that Elkhart Goshen area.
Yep.
And this show is so important to the industry and to the dealers that people like Tiffin from Red Bay, Alabama, and Winnebago from Forest City, Iowa, they bring their units all the way to Elkhart and Goshen, and they rent additional space because they want to be right there in the action. You don't want to have these dealers traveling too far, because if they get to one of these manufacturers and they like what they see, they could be there for the entire day. I mean, I know dealers that have, when they go to open house, spend one entire day just in the Thor display because they've got 17 or 18
different brands.
And the next day they go over to Forest River and spend the entire day there because they've got 14 or 15 different brands. So it's serious business. There's some levity and tremendous networking and seeing your friends, but it's serious business. They're spending an awful lot of money.
And the thing that we found is many of the major retailers, such as Campers Inn and RV One and that type of thing, they go, and I know I talked to the Campers Inn executives, they've got 30 people there. And the owner and founder, Jeff Hirsch, said to me, we need to have our people know the product. And they take factory tours, and they know how these products will work over the years. So it's a very, very important day.
And well, the other thing too is it's not even so much the buying aspect. It is that bringing the staff, because you see all the people behind the sales rep that you always see at the dealership. Sales rep comes out, tells you what the new products are, does your training and what have you. but behind every one of those manufacturers, sales reps, is an incredible team of talented engineers, procurement people, designers that are doing all the heavy lifting behind the scenes so that we can enjoy these RVs down the road.
Exactly. So we hope you enjoyed some of the pictures that we put up here while Bob and I were talking about the event. And it's a great event. Unfortunately, the general public can't go, but the general public benefits from it because of all the new models that are showcased here that will be showing up in dealer showrooms in January of 2023. So we've got a great
and the consumer shows because
right. Oh, exactly.
With Hershey behind us, Tampa becomes in many ways the first consumer exposure to what these dealers saw this week.
Exactly.
Brand new companies like Elevation, that might be their first time. Brinkley RV that is coming on the scene from the former owners of Grand Design, launching entirely new RV company. They will probably be displaying down in Tampa for the first time. So there's an awful lot of people and consumers in the country that will never miss the Tampa Super Show. It's kind of like their winter vacation. Right. They just pack it up and spend a whole week at the Florida State Fairgrounds and see everything that's out there.
Yeah, yeah. And we do want to not slide over the news of the day with the hurricane in Florida that is certainly going to have an impact on camping facilities in the upcoming year. Again, at the time that we're taping this, we still don't know the extent of the damage, but down in that Southwest Florida area, there are certainly going to be RV dealerships as well as campgrounds and tourist facilities that campers go to all the time that are going to be impacted. So we will hope that everything comes out good for them. So that's a wrap on the business aspect of Camp Report Show. We want to thank our friends who we met and had lunch with and coffee with and maybe a beer or two with at Elkhart, our friends at RV Business and Woodall's Campground Magazine. So stay with us, Bob, because this is what show?
This is the Camper Report Show. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Camper Report Show, and we got a great show for you this morning. Great interview for you this morning with Trevor Kropf and the Kropf team out in Goshen, Indiana. Trevor, welcome to the Camper Report Show, and please introduce the team and yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Zagami. We appreciate you having us on the show today. To my left, I have Liz Wagaman. She's our lead designer here at Kropf. To my right, I have Brian Wagaman. He is the director of product development. Brian and I are fourth generation here at Kropf Industries, so very excited about the product this year. Great reception for the open house, and just happy to talk with you today.
Well, we're glad to have you there. And in full disclosure, most people know it, but I am sitting in my Kropf Park model home in Old Orchard Beach, Maine, and we love it. My wife customized it with your team, and it's a great second home, a great vacation home. So thank you for that. And I was actually, talking to you, Trevor, prior to hitting the button. And in 7 years, it's at least 7 years, it could be 8 years. But in 7 years of owning this park model, the only thing that we have replaced was one light over the kitchen sink. The light bulb, not even the fixture, just the bulb. But the quality is fantastic. One of the highlights this week in terms of open house was your introduction of a new model. So before we talk about that, give us a little bit of that fourth, fifth, third generation. There aren't that many companies in the RV industry that can go on camera and say, "Oh yeah, we're the fourth generation."
Correct. I mean, I don't think there are many out there at all anymore. But yeah, company was started back in 1946 by our great grandfather Solomon Kropf, and then fourth generation passed down to his son Robert and Vern Kropf. Vern currently lives in Florida, so all of our prayers with those in Florida right now that are getting affected by the hurricane. then after that, I went to my father, Don Kropf, and his brother-in-law, Kurt Yoder. Kurt Yoder recently here retired. And then, yeah, we're fourth generation. Very happy to be with the business and just continuing on the family name here.
Well, there's a great name behind the company and great products. I was intrigued as we led up to the open house, the little teasers that you were putting out there about the El Dorado. I mean, you don't bring back a name unless it was a famous name, unless it had some historical significance. So Liz, how did that come about?
So the El Dorado meant a lot to our grandfather and great-grandfather, and to them it symbolized top of the line, high quality unit that just like you can count on, 7-8 years from now, hopefully only having to replace a light bulb. They wanted it to be much, much longer than that. And as I went back and started digging through our history, we knew the nostalgia that existed within our own family. For example, our grandparents were gifted the very first El Dorado off the line as their wedding present. That's what they lived in for their first home. But then I started reaching out to vintage mobile home owners. There are groups of thousands of people out there that love the Kropf El Dorado. And what I found in countless social media groups was that the El Dorado is still viewed as the cream of the crop. And we wanted to make sure to carry on that tradition with our new El Dorado.
That's a great story. So what was the reaction of your dealers? Obviously, you were hosting a lot of dealers this week. Brian, what was the reaction to the dealers when they saw what you made, what you're now reintroducing as the El Dorado?
Yeah, so we've heard a ton of great stuff from our dealers, from their feedback, just stepping into the units. Pictures are great, but actually being inside the units and getting the feel for everything as it came together, they've been really pleased and they're excited about getting them on their lots. I think what we've done there with that El Dorado is really take all of our best features of our Island series that's been our bread and butter over the last number of years, and we just took all of our best features that we could out of that Island and put them all together in that El Dorado so that we had something that was going to really stand out there above the rest of our products as this is it, this is the top of the line, and this is kind of what everything should be shooting for, as far as you're getting a really nice product here at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. What about interest outside the RV industry? Real estate investment trusts are getting very actively involved in the campground and the outdoor hospitality industry. And I've often wondered why we haven't seen more park model developments like the one that I'm in up in Maine, Seacoast Resort. It's a park model village. Everybody here has a park model, and 90% of them are Kropfs. They got sunrooms, they've got decks. And I look at this and I say, why aren't more people interested in that? Or do you see a turning of the tide where more of these real estate type people are getting interested in park model living?
I mean, I definitely think that you do. If you looked at the recent numbers, park models were up 44% as far as the shipments in August. I still think that, there's a continued interest in them. We've had dealers call in or land developers call in asking about what you're just talking about as far as putting park model communities up in their region or territory. So I definitely think it's a trend that's going to keep going on because, again, echoing you've only had to replace maybe a light in the 7 years. They're built to last. Unlike, there's some great RVs out there, but they are built very much like a residential home, with the RV designation being under 400 square feet.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand them, and the potential for the park model segment of our industry is just amazing. It always kind of confused me why we'd only have maybe 10,000 in a good year that were being developed, when you look at the fact that we sell 500,000 RVs and we haven't touched people that are outside the RV industry.
Right.
So from a business standpoint, you had the Island series,
Mhm.
top of the line, and you got your other LE series, but you got the other series. What made you say, let's go bigger and better? Not necessarily bigger and better, but let's do something different. Was it just kind of getting close to an anniversary, or did you just feel that, hey, we've got to, although we're good, we're at the top of the pile, we got to take another step forward if we want to stay ahead of the pack? What kind of thinking went into that?
Well, there were some stars aligned there. Yeah, it is nice that it was the 70th anniversary of the Eldorado that was first introduced in 1953. We're in the 2023 model year for it. So, I mean, it was nice to kind of roll the red carpet out for it this year. But Kropf's always kind of been known as the industry leader, pushing the envelope a little bit, and just kind of showing the general public and the dealers what different things they could do with that 400 square feet. And again, I mean, it was a true team effort on putting this together. I mean, I got two great people here to my sides, but I mean, I'll just make a pitch right now that we have probably the best team in the industry as far as our production crew right now. I mean, without them, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did out here as far as the fit and finish and everything that went into the Eldorado. That's from the interior to the exterior. If you notice with all the exterior, I mean, it's quite different than just your normal horizontal siding. So we got two great production managers and we got a great team behind us right now. So,
well, you don't last 4 or 5 generations if you aren't doing something right, because the public can be very unforgiving if they don't like what you're doing. But you obviously have things that, number one, your people enjoy doing, and brings you great pleasure to see your dealers carry that tradition into the field and out to the end consumer. Let's talk a little bit about that. And in this case here, it's a little bit self-serving because it happens to be my dealer up in Maine. But talk about your number one. I'll let you talk about them. I know who they are. I talk about them a lot. But talk about why it's important to have a number one dealer in the country, because it means something very special, and who that number one dealer might be.
Well, I got to find out the actual how many years running now, but I know it's 10 plus. Seacoast RV up in Saco, Maine, was our number one dealer for the 2022 model year. Kenny and Amanda were just down here, and we had a great time with them. They pride themselves on being the number one Kropf dealer in the nation. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to get to that number one, and they would like that plaque every year. But yeah, Kenny and Amanda, and before them, Linda Mailhot did a great job, Linda and Mike. But yeah, it's great. It's great for the New England area that you guys have such a great dealer up there, and that can service that region a little bit for you. But yeah, we're truly blessed to have them as a dealer.
Yeah, it's really ironic when you think about park models. Certainly the way that the industry looked at them over the last 10 or 15 years. About 70 to 80% of all park models go to California or Arizona or Texas or Florida, because it's a natural thing, because many of those have full-time living, where we certainly don't in the Northeast. But your number one dealer in the country is about 10 miles away from that lighthouse over my left shoulder.
Right.
I mean, that's ironic, but it speaks to Kropf, and it speaks to the quality that Seacoast represents you here in New England.
That's correct. I mean, like you said, it spans all across the country with some of the larger manufacturers, with the Cavcos and the Skylines. But Kropf has always prided themselves, and thanks to dealers like Seacoast and some of our other larger dealers across the country, I mean, Kropf remains in that top 3 as far as retail registrations month after month. So we couldn't do it without dealers like Seacoast and a number of the other ones across the country. So we really thank them coming in this week, having a great show, and it's really been remarkable.
All right, our guests this morning have been the representatives from Kropf, Trevor Kropf, and Brian and Liz. I want to thank you very much for joining us and putting this together in such short notice, but your announcements were so good at Open House Week this week. We try to make this program topical, and you were one of the hits of the week in Goshen, and there were a lot of people from Elkhart going down to Goshen to see what you were doing. The dealers weren't they weren't worried about making that trip down to Goshen and see your display, and and see the new Eldorado. So hopefully we'll see that in the Boston show with Kenny and Amanda. And I want to thank any closing statement for our fans.
We're just excited about our product, and I'm sure once they get a chance to see it in person, they're gonna love it. We've had a great response, so we're excited about getting it out there and for people to see and experience themselves.
Liz?
I just appreciate the opportunity. I love having joined this family, though I am not Kropf by blood. I appreciate the fact that everyone in this building is family. And we hope that every customer that ends up with a Kropf on their lot feels like part of the family too.
Well, you came in with a bang in terms of bringing the Eldorado. So I think you've already earned your stripes, and they'll probably keep you around for a little while. Trevor?
Yeah, Mr. Zagami, we appreciate your support in all this. We know you're an owner of a proud Kropf. We appreciate you. We appreciate the radio show, all the dealers for coming in. And like I said, top to bottom, the Kropf team here. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of them this year because I really think we hit it on the head. So, I mean, we're really proud of the product.
That's fantastic. Thanks very much, guys. And next year I won't get COVID, and I'll come back to the factory and visit with you.
We would love that.
Look
Yep.
forward to it.
Maybe before then.
Yeah.
Right.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Camp Report Show. My name is John DePietro. We are in Foxborough, Massachusetts, just a mile down the street from the New England Patriots Stadium, and we are talking with some people that are GMC owners from the Northeast. And ironically, as we look at their motorhomes, we just moved the camera over, and those are the owners. Ladies, welcome to the Camp Report Show.
John, it's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name is Mary Grace Cal, and I am from Troy, New York.
Can I call you Mary?
No, you
No.
cannot.
Okay.
It's Mary Grace or MG.
Okay.
But
Or
thank
the
you for
interview's over.
That's correct. That's done.
Okay.
It's
And
my
how about
pleasure.
you,
And I'm Nancy
Nancy?
Amelia, and I am from Salem, New Hampshire.
So Nancy, who played the trick on you and spelled your name without a Y?
Oh, there's a story behind that.
But we don't have time for it now. So, you know what? This is a group of people that have what I call classic RVs. You know, like the old Airstreams or the GMCs. Tell us a little bit about what you know about the history of these and why you like them.
I like them because I grew to like it. It was my husband's dream to have one. He bought ours.
This husband
this is
right
my
here.
husband, and he rebuilt it from the frame.
Husband, you
up.
want to sit there?
No.
No?
he doesn't.
Okay.
And he
This is a
rebuilt
women's
it-
world.
He rebuilt it from the frame up, and I grew to love it over time.
How long did it take him to do that?
2 years,
Oh, wow.
2 hours a day for 2 years.
Okay. Did you do it on company time or your own time?
no, my own time.
Your own time. Okay, so go ahead, Mary Grace.
So
Not to be confused with Mary
that is correct.
or Nancy with an IE.
That is correct. So I grew to love it. The uniqueness of it, the thumbs up you get when you're riding down the highway. You can't stop at a gas station and fill up without a crowd of people asking him all kinds of questions. And there you have your driller in the
Yep.
background. So, and just the community sense of it is what I like about it.
Nancy, how about you?
Well, my husband's son bought one. And as soon as my husband saw that bull in the driveway, he said to his son, "Do you mind if I get one too?" So that's how we got ours. 5 years ago.
Do you ever camp together, a two-generation camping?
Yes. Oh, yeah. As often as we can, we camp together. And if I had it my way, I would live in it.
Now, my guess is that when you pull into a gas station or a restaurant,
Anywhere.
you attract a crowd.
Oh, God, yes.
All the time. all
Right.
the time.
So what do they say to you? What do they act?
All kinds
What do
of
they say to
questions.
you?
What is this?
What is-
You know, that you get a lot of that. What is this thing? My father had one of these. I had an uncle who had one. I used to have one. All kinds of stories. Absolutely. And you're at the gas station for a while because you can't like just pull in and fill up, and it takes a long
It
time.
takes a long time.
To fill these things
and a
up.
lot of money.
Because so there's all kinds of questions, or I have one at home, or whatever, you know. They're just unique. They
We
really
just
are.
recently had ours painted that color that you saw.
Okay.
So people say, "Oh my, that is such a beautiful color. It's a ray of sunshine."
It is.
So we get stopped even more now, and we get thumbs up from bikers driving by.
How about
people keeping
hippies? Do
on the
hippies give
highway.
you the thumbs up?
We don't know who these people are. The
'Cause
people
that looks
on the
like-
highway.
It's
That
like
looks-
it's a tree hugging hippie
Right.
coach.
It
It
could
is. Well,
be-
it's a
Yeah.
1973.
It could be one that a lot of smoke comes from. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the exhaust pipe.
Right.
Right?
We understand.
Exactly.
Right. That's why the thumbs up from the hippies
Yes.
would be.
Yes, people on the highway. My husband sees people on the highway slow down and just beep. And I don't see it because I'm watching the highway. Obviously, he's not. And people just slow down and they beep and they wave. And I'm like, he goes, that person just like beeped and waved at me. I'm like, that's awesome.
Well, let me
On
ask
the
you this
highway.
question. Do either of you drive it?
I want to. I did take it for a ride around our town. We're going to be doing a big trip next year. So I'm going to learn how to drive it because he should not be the only one to learn how to drive it.
I agree with Nancy. When we first put it on the road, he took me to a vacant parking lot. And I drove it.
No
And I-
poles.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No light
There were
poles.
some lines on the road that I could use as, okay, I'm at an intersection, but there's nothing there. So it was the easiest thing in the world to drive. Then we take it out, and I said, I'm going to drive in Florida, because if I can't drive in Florida, I can't drive anywhere. Well, guess what? I can't drive in Florida. I get behind the wheel, and I feel like I have to really hold on tight to maneuver it.
Yeah.
And I end up shaking the wheel. I think the wheel is shaking me. And he says, stop shaking the coach. I think I've been a total, and I tried this 3 times, I think I've been behind the wheel a total with those 3, maybe 15 minutes. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay. Now, these rallies like this, how many people are at this particular unit?
This actually is usually our biggest rally, and we usually have 18 to 20 coaches. And I think this one is the biggest because it's centrally located for most of the
Now, it says
people.
nor'easters. New England plus New York,
Yes.
Yes.
and that's it.
Well,
Geographically.
Geographically,
Yeah.
I think we're the furthest.
Yes.
We're the only
Yeah.
New Yorkers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
But you're the president.
I am the president.
So you write the rules about New Yorkers being allowed.
No, we have bylaws. They were
Oh,
already
bylaws.
in existence.
Okay.
And a lot. How many club members are left that were original? 1, 2, 3. I think there's only 3 people that still have a motor coach that were part of the original group. I think our eldest member is 84 or 85. The bylaws were written and they were GMC only. We did make a change to the bylaws 3 years ago where
Yeah.
we allowed that if you have to have a GMC to get into the club. If once you're in, if something happens to your
Yeah.
GMC, or you can't maintain it, or you sell it, or you do whatever, and that's where we have 2 SOBs in the group right now.
Okay, and you want to clarify that by those are some other brand.
Not
Okay.
that you are a son of a B,
Right.
but some other brand.
Right. Now, this particular event, we're sitting here at a long table that looks like there are potluck dinners or that type of thing.
Yep.
You being the Italian, are you being counted on to provide the best food?
Well, actually, a lot of us are really good cooks. We are having meatballs for this one.
Oh.
As we do a rally, not just because I'm the president, we have somebody host the rally.
Yeah.
And usually the host has it in their own state because it makes it
Yeah.
easier. You decide what the menu's going to be. You send out an email looking for, this is what our menu's going to be. Can you bring any of the following? And you sign up for something.
Can you tell him to chew quieter?
Yeah, stop crunching over there. So that's what we normally do. So the rally hosts, they used to be called rally masters, but we don't like the
Yeah.
word master.
Yeah, right. Oh,
So
yes.
the rally
Wagon
host,
masters,
right,
but
wagon
nobody
master.
calls them.
The old
So-
Good Sam used.
Right, but
yeah.
the host determines what they're going to have on the menu.
This is the interview.
You
wanna sit down
sign
and-
up for the rally, and that determines what your budget is going to be for the food, because each rally costs a coach $25. And
That's
then-
all?
That's all. We're a very inexpensive group.
Wow, that is amazingly.
Yeah. And so if you've got 20 coaches coming, then you have a large budget to do a bigger type of meal.
Okay, so if you went to $26, would any of the people complain?
We just raised it to 25. It was 20.
Oh, okay. So that was a big
And
jump
if they
for
complain,
one small
what are you
jump
gonna
for
do?
man
That's
and
good.
one leap for
That is
mankind.
correct.
So a guy sat down here. What are they relegated to at these events? Because obviously, ladies, you rule this with an
they move
iron
the
hand.
tables, they put the tents up, they work under the hood or the side of somebody else's coach.
Nothing that takes any great thought.
No, none at all. None. Absolutely not. That is all for the females of the group. Thus, that's why there's a female president.
Exactly. And your clothing matches the tablecloths.
We do
and-
the best we can to
and that
color
type of thing.
coordinate. Yes.
So what would you say to other people that are not necessarily thinking of a GMC, but are thinking of getting into the RVing lifestyle?
Do it.
Yes,
Do it.
RVing is so much fun. I mean, if you go somewhere you've never been before and it's the worst place you've ever been, you unhook, you drive somewhere else. There's no limit to where you can go. You do need to have money to fix, repair,
Yep,
maintain,
right.
whatever kind of a coach you own.
You need
Regardless
to
of
have
what kind it
ability
is.
to talk to people and to
Correct.
get along with
Right.
people.
That is correct.
Right.
You just don't park it and stay in your RV. You might as well just stay at home.
That's
Right,
correct.
good point.
That is correct.
Good
Because
point.
we see a
But-
lot of people do that.
Yeah.
You might as well just stay at home if you're going to do
And most RVers, will help you back in.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like
Very-
especially when you see the new RVers come in, they
Our first
take
time-
trees with them.
That
Our
right.
first time camping, we forgot Bob's lifeline. Our RV's name is Bob. So we forgot the lifeline, meaning the plug, to do
Yep.
it. And people next to us automatically
I've
had
got one.
cheese for us. They cut cheese for us. They saw that we were like in panic mode. And they're like, you guys see what? Strangers
Yeah.
offered us food.
When you say they cut cheese, you don't mean cut the cheese.
No.
You guys caught that. They caught that right away.
Yeah.
But
Like just perfect strangers, just helping out. That's what RVing is about. Just people getting along and having a good time.
now, how about the people that think, "Oh, I've got to be retired before I can buy an RV"?
Oh, that's
Would-
not true. That's not
We're
true.
retired.
We
Okay.
weren't when
We're-
we bought
you're retired.
ours. We've been on the road for 7 years. I didn't retire until 2020. My husband's been retired longer. So you do it on your weekends. You do it your couple of weeks you take for vacation. Nancy and Jim have something different that the rest of us don't. They do backyard camping with their RV because they have a dump site.
Yes, we have a dump station in the backyard.
of your own house?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can go to their house. They can accommodate 2 other coaches.
And
So-
and your house.
and your
Yeah,
house
in the backyard.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty neat. That's
So
pretty
sometimes, have any people ever gone out to your house, know that you're camping in the back, and say, "Can we stay in the house"?
No.
neat.
No.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
There's an app called, I think it's called Heritage,
Yeah.
and there's thousands of places where you can stay in their parking lots.
Right. Harvest Toast. Do you think?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Stay in
Yeah.
their
Boondockers
backyard.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most
Yep.
of them have electric.
Yep. Yep.
Walmart welcomes you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Boondocking is not my favorite thing because I have historically been a water waster. And I'm sorry.
Historically been water waste.
You know, some people drink, I waste water. But that's hard to do with boondocking. So I have to curb that usage.
Well, we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to your busy day of doing nothing, right?
We've
That's
done a
gr-
lot
right?
today.
Isn't that a busy day?
Style.
Look at. We even have a studio. This is one of the few interviews we've done. We normally do them on Zoom, but we have a live studio audience here. That
They don't look too alive to me.
they don't look too alive to you.
Don't film
But
Landon Butt.
and then we have this young lady who is from. She's a nutmegger.
Is this going to be on TV?
Yeah.
It already is. It's live. No, it's not live. It's not live. But we want to thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
John, thank you
Wish
for
you the
having
best
us.
and have fun. And as we say it all at once, let's just say go RVing. Remember? 3, 2, 1.
Go RVing!